Exhibition consultant. Have you ever heard about this word earlier? Well, they and this talk show, we will meet one such successful exhibition consultant who will share his how he has been through his overall journey of entrepreneurship. Hope you all have visited many exhibitions like trade fairs in your city. How many stalls are there in these types of exhibitions? I think approximately 500 to 1000. How many people visit these exhibitions? But do all these people visit each stall? Or some stalls attract more footfall? Definitely, it's like that. But why are other stalls not able to attract that kind of a footfall? What do they need to do? What change in strategy should they follow? All these questions will be answered by our guest today, Mr. Gagan Kapoor, an exhibition success consultant. Welcome, Mr. Gagan.
Thank you so much, Rahul. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here today at this particular forum. And I am truly excited for this particular session.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Gagan. Program Director at TCS IM Direct Academy. I will be your host for today's talk show on evolution of an entrepreneur from a startup to an impacting startup. So I welcome once again Mr. Gagan. So before beginning the show, first of all, let me introduce our speaker. Mr. Gagan Kapoor is a serial entrepreneur and a certified trainer with over 20 years of experience in exhibitions and overall 7 years of experience in trainings with the sole passion of making exhibitions more profitable for exhibitors. Mr. Gagan is a certified trainer from T. Harv Eker's Success Resources America and Business Networking International BNI and holds an MBA in marketing and a diploma in French language and literature. He is the founder of Go for Growth Consulting, which focuses on exhibition consulting and trainings, and is the first exhibition strategy coach in India. He is also the founder and CEO of Zero VMS, which is a revolutionary app for the exhibition industry and is the first visitor management app for exhibitors in India. He is also the co-founder of Winning Mantra, which is focused on export-oriented trainings and consulting. As a trainer for the past 7 years, he has trained more than 31,000 entrepreneurs, helping them enhance their business skills. Mr. Gagan is a senior director consultant and head of trainings of BNI Gurgaon also, and part of national training team and a member of International Board of Advisors of BNI. So once again, I welcome Mr. Gagan Kapoor. Let me start with the set of questions. So first of all, Mr. Gagan Kapoor, tell us about your life, your career, your job, and how you got into entrepreneurship, your overall journey so far.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rahul, one more time for inviting me. And when you asked me about this question, looking at our life journey and all that, I actually just got transported back 23 years ago, where I was doing zoology honors from Hansraj College, New Delhi. And it was a very different field altogether from where I am currently today. But yes, a lot of things actually started originating there with where I am currently right now. And that is why I thought of just mentioning that particular part. And it is during that zoology honors term in Hansraj College is when I got, first of all, a little taste of events and exhibitions. I was the president of my society at that particular time. And I was doing certain events and I was going to trade shows and all that, all related to biology and sciences and all that at that time. But yes, it got me a little bit of an idea that this is a pretty interesting field. And that is when I decided that I want to do something towards that field. So even if coming from a very studious research background related, the side of the business side of the academics, I decided that, okay, what do I really need to do to go into events and exhibitions? Well, of course, I had to get fully trained first and, with the studies and all that. So I did my MBA in marketing. And as you had mentioned, and after that, I started working in a company whose core business was events and exhibitions. Although coming from a background where everybody in the family was working, I never thought of doing any sort of business and all that. And straight away, like a nice person, joined a job. I kept working in that company for a good number of 10 years. I was there in that particular company. And till about 8 years, I had Because I was passionate about events and exhibitions, I was working on that side, loved the whole way. I was evolving, I was doing business development, I was doing all of those things. Somewhere around the 8th year, I realized that I wanted to do certain things in a certain way with regards to the trade shows and exhibitions. And I was very passionate. I had got very passionate about the trade shows and exhibitions by then, living that every single day of my life. And but you know what happens is that when you are working in some company, you always have to be under certain limits, the way that company is working, the way that company is progressing and all that. And that is absolutely okay, right? If I have some people working in my company, I would also want them to follow a certain standard. But that is where the first thoughts came in, that I need to change the way some things are happening. And that is when the first realization came in, that if I need to change some things, it won't be by going into any other company. It will be if I can do something of my own. And frankly, coming from a background where generations have been in banks and working, I never thought that I could take this step. My wife had a big role to play in my taking this particular step. She was very encouraging. She was also working at that time. And that's when we decided, okay, I need to take this plunge. I need to start my business. Well, this thought came in 2008, but I did not start anything until 2010. And that is the time, 2 years, when I spent in a lot of planning, a lot of planning. Frankly, I needed to get enough courage and capital both to get started with this particular thing. And finally, after making a lot of business plans, reading books on how it should go, talking to people, talking to friends who were in business, I finally decided, and 2010 May, I took the plunge, put in my papers and started this company called Cero Corp, which was primarily made for solutions on trade shows and exhibitions. So that was the core business where we started with. And I'm proud to say that in the past 10 years, now I'll be completing 11 years with this company, Cero Corporate Solutions, which was my baby in 2010. We have reached and impacted 36 different industries. We have done business in 3 continents. We have, apart from, of course, India, where we are already present in 36 cities, more than 400 clients from top multinationals we have been working with. So all of this happened in the past 11 years, and I'm proud the way I have moved forward onto this particular thought process. But there are some more things to the entire journey which I would like to mention. In 2000, I was very passionate for speaking, and I was very passionate for trainings. And in 2013, I got an opportunity with another organization called BNI, and it was where I came in as a consultant, and I started training those people, and that is where my passion for training started coming in. And I practically were doing my business and also training. I was developing personally there. But in 2016 or 17 somewhere, I saw that in exhibitions what I was conducting, there were a couple of challenges. I realized that people were not really able to manage their exhibitions properly. They were facing a lot of challenges in closing good business. And they were facing challenges in presenting themselves in a trade show better. And that is when, and I was seeing these people every single day because of my business. And that's when I realized that I'm doing trainings and I'm doing consulting already. And I'm doing exhibitions. Can I start something? Can I plan something which can help these people? And that is when in 2018, I of course learned for it. I took mentorship on those particular things. And finally, in 2018, I launched India's first set of trainings and consulting for exhibition industry. Nobody had heard this before. Nobody had learned about this before. I made it all from the scratch. I tried to find somebody in India. Nobody was there. So I created everything from the scratch to develop this new set of trainings and consulting for the exhibition industry, for the exhibitors who were participating. Another challenge which I saw, and I would like to briefly mention it here, was about the app which I created. The challenge was capturing the leads in an exhibition. Again, a very big challenge. And I, in 2019, created an app called Cero VMS, and that has become India's first app in lead capturing, lead management, and communicating with visitors. So practically in the past 10, 11 years of my journey, it started from Serocop, moved, completely evolved from being a Serocop to me being evolved as a consultant. And finally, now where we stand is I've launched 2 new products in the past 3 years. One is the exhibition trainings and consulting, and the other being a completely new thing, which is the app which I have developed. So this is how I can sum up my journey for the past 21 years so far, when I started in 2000.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Kapoor. Definitely, I'm sure the students would have got inspired by your sayings and your opinion. And I am also inspired by listening to your journey. Coming to the next question, as we all know, today many want to become an entrepreneur, start their own business. So how one should narrow down to an idea? How should one analyze their skill sets to become an entrepreneur?
Okay, so definitely it as we all say, it all starts with an idea, right? So there are 2 ways practically of narrowing down on an idea. Number one is that you are looking at a challenge or a problem in your own industry. You have been working in a particular industry and you are looking at a challenge and you decide to work on that challenge. That's number one way of looking. And the number 2 way you can get an idea is you see a problem outside your current domain, right? And you say that, okay, can I work on this? Can I make a difference in this? And that is where you could go for. And believe you me, there are all the people we have seen, they have gone within the same domain as well, made a difference. And a lot of them also get into a completely different domain and get successful there. So both of these is the way the idea can be generated. I would like to talk about the first scenario, which is where you already are in a particular domain and you find a challenge. Now, this is where it all starts with that you see that you felt a challenge which your customers were facing or you were facing, and you realize that, can we change this? And that is when you start thinking about it and slowly develop on that thought. And one day it dawns on you that, yes, I can do something, I can make a difference. So if you are in the first scenario, number 1, when it comes to the generation of the idea, if there is an idea, think more about it. What you need to do is you need to do a bit more research on it. Now, research becomes very, very critical when it comes to an idea. See if some work has already been done on it. What kind of competition there is already there it is. What kind of people, what kind of companies are working on it, right? You would want to go in it and you will probably feel more confident in this particular way because you already have some basic skill set in this area. You already have a knowledge about how the industry works, what really happens in this industry, right? And this really helps you get more confidence. And that is when you decide to act, right? But before you actually finally start implementing this particular idea, what you need to see is that, do you need an additional skill set to kind of plan it better, to be able to present it better to the people and all that? You definitely need to look at research. As I said, you need to do something. And I would just recommend everybody one thing, which is that just don't jump into endless amount of competition if there's already a lot of work which has happened. You should not be any other person who is, or any other company or another company who has come into that particular field. You need to find some unique challenge which has not been addressed and then work on it. Believe you me, it is going to greatly give you the chances of getting noticed much sooner and faster, and you will feel very content that you're solving a unique challenge in your industry. Now that's the scenario number 1, which is working in your own industry. The second scenario, which is getting into a completely new domain, again you will spot a challenge. You would probably find something which is unique where you could help. And the interesting part about it is that people who have got into another industry have been completely revolutionary with which they looked at that particular industry, right? These are the people who bring completely new ideas. They do not work on the blinkers what the industry has been putting, and they think outside the box. And that is where some of the best known entrepreneurs have actually gone completely beyond their industry and worked in a completely new skill set. But important thing here it would also require is that you need to get the right kind of skill set in case you need to work on this. You need to get a lot of knowledge on it, work or see how the systems work and all that. That's number one. And it is here where having the right set of people on board also becomes very, very critical, right? If you do not have the right side of the kind of people on this, it is going to greatly bother you with the way the whole process and all that happens. And needless to say, in both the scenarios, whether it is the first scenario or the second scenario, you need to create an entire business plan. Without that, nothing is practically doable. And the last but not the least part in this particular whole scenario is having a mentor. Now, this is something which is very, very critical. Frankly, if I tell you, if I looked at both the scenarios, my first product, which is the exhibition trainings, came completely from something which I was working on. And the second thing is the app, where I required a lot of technology intervention. I needed the support of the right kind of people. I decided to work in the same field which I have known for 20 years, but a lot of people may completely enter into a new domain per se. Having a mentor here becomes very, very critical, because these are the people who are going to give you necessary knowledge, and they will guide you within the thick and thin. They know the nuances of what works better, what doesn't work, which side is where you should not go, and that is when those are so critical points. For both of my new ventures, which I started for my trainings bit, I actually got mentored by a renowned trainer in India, and he helped me understand the very basics of training, how you need to move forward, how you need to create your training modules and all that. And on the other side, when it comes to the app, I actually got in touch with somebody who is good at technology and launched apps already, and he is helping me with planning the right way, the technology and all that. So yes, that is what you need to do. And needless to say, you need to read a lot of books into that domain to gain necessary knowledge. A lot has been written on it, and you should gain that knowledge. It greatly helps.
Wow, it's really very much inspiring.
Thank you.
Get inspiration from your this talk and the answer to this question. And you covered two important points. What I feel, you can make a difference. This is a very powerful punchline what our students might have received from your side. So coming to the third question, Mr. Kapoor, one of the biggest roadblocks for any new startup is the financials. How should one manage and plan for the same? Also, also risks are involved in that case. So how to mitigate that? Please.
Okay, so I would like to break this part down. This is one of very, very important, as you rightly said, and a critical factor when it comes to the finances and managing and arranging and all that. So I would like to break it into a few parts, and I would like to talk about it one by one. I would like to first talk about how I started. When I started, my business of trade shows and services for trade shows and all that is a very brick and mortar business. So I had to start with the saved money. I had saved, the moment I had started thinking about one thing, I'd always saved money in my life. So I was saving it for something else. But when I decided to do business, I started saving more and then allocated all my resources towards that. Now that's number one. So I did not really opt for something which was out from money from somewhere else. I started with my own money. But once you get on your business, you need to have a right mix of the savings as well as the spendings. Initially, when you are in your business, you have to be very frugal. You cannot splurge money on the endless things, especially the kind of office you're going to have, the kind of travel you are going to do, the kind of stays you're going to do. I have stayed in 2 to 3 star hotels earlier in my life. I have traveled in trains if required. Of course, if required, the flights, but the best economy class flights, I could get it. I have worked on it because that was my hard-earned money which I was spending into these things. Now, this is where you need to be frugal in the kind of expenses you are going to have. But there are some places you should not be penny wise and pound foolish. You should not save at certain things where it is not required. And let me tell you where it is. You should not save where it means that it could get you more business. Okay. Initially, as a business, you need to do all the jobs, right? You will need to plan every single bit and all that. But you need to see that very soon you need to get onto a level where you are not doing other people's job. If by hiring a resource of 15,000 or 20,000 or 25,000, you could save some bit of your time and you could implement that time in a better thing which could get you more and more business, you need to very, very carefully think about that kind of spending, because this spending will be not worth the saving, right? So you need to kind of plan that ways. And whenever you are planning with regards to spending, think about long term. Is this thing going to help me in the long term planning? Is this freeing my time so that I can do better things for development? That is where you need to plan. Now, that is the number one thing. Not splurging everywhere, still not saving everywhere. So it has to be a right mix. That's number one. The second thing is arranging the finances. Now, as a business owner and entrepreneur, these days there are many good ways of arranging the finances. I would just like to talk some of them. Number one is debt financing. That is where we all know the loans and mortgages. You put something and you get a loan and you pay an interest to it. That's number one way of doing it. Number two way of doing it is equity financing, whereby you give some part of your business and in equity to another person, to another company, and they get a shareholder. They become a shareholder in your company, and there you don't have to repay, but yes, they will ask you questions on how you're going to move forward and all that. So everything has their pros and cons. These days, another way which is becoming very, very interesting is crowdsourcing, whereby you request a set of people to source, to raise money, and you could use that in two ways. You could even do it in debt where you are repaying them, or you can give them an equity. So there are a set of people, but the good part is that these set of people become your advisors as well, and they will give you a lot of interesting insights about your business, right? These days, you could also do, you know that there are a lot of incubators which have come in, right? Many colleges, I know I am Bangalore, I am Ahmedabad and all that, they have become incubators and they want to develop new people who are coming up with businesses. So you could reach out to them, you could pitch your business, and if there is merit in your business, they will be more than happy to train you how to do good business and to even fund some initial part of it. Apart from these institutions, there are private institutions these days. As I said, private incubators also who are there, who would be able to help you build up an idea, right? We see it every single day. And last but not the least, the government also have certain schemes whereby it supports the startups. MSME department alone has got so many new schemes which has come up whereby you could talk about getting some finances for initial plan of your business, and even they give you further support based on the way you have developed your business. So these days people have got a lot of ways. All what we should do is to keep our eyes and ears open, to have a lookout of all these possible things and pitch for business. If they see passion in you, you are going to get more and more business. And the third thing I would like to talk about, I've already spoken about the managing it and saving it. So that's very, very critical. But another very, very critical thing, what we need to look at is the documentation and financing in your business. Now, you need to do as a business, small business, you need to do an umpteen amount of paperwork in your business. I have learned it the hard way, where initially I did something on goodwill. Somebody said, okay, can you do this? And I did that without a PO or a contract. And I know I learned it the hard way. I lost money because I did not manage it properly. And all I would like to request you is, do not do anything, any contract without signing proper documentation. Take it in writing. Take it as a purchase order, stamped and everything, that you are going to, even if it is a 1,000 rupee worth of a job, put it on a contract. It is going to set some practices for you, which is going to safeguard your finances even the legal things, whenever you do certain things, the first thing they ask you is, okay, show us the paperwork, what you sent, show us the approvals and all that. Many business owners and entrepreneurs are not doing that, which is where they are facing a lot of challenges. So just follow the proper documentation and the processes with regards to your business. You will never ever lose money. And I would say, don't go around the system to save taxes or cash dealings and all that. Just follow the rules, how the government says. It has helped me greatly. I file all my returns properly and all that. Just keep following it. You will be one of the best businesses to work with. And let me tell you, when you go out to ask money to somebody, people see all your finances and the way you deal with and all that. So every single thing is connected, right? So keep a lookout at all these things when it comes to your finances.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Gagan, for telling us all the financial avenues which are available, and especially touching upon the government policies for our MSME listeners. So coming to the next question, in the question, answering to the question 2, you said about the right mix of people. So the question 4 is related to that only. Equally big challenge for a startup is having the right team and the right mix of people. So how can you guide to our viewers on planning for it?
Okay. I read a book when I was starting my business. It's called Small Giants, and there was a nice way that book had said about how you should manage your teams. When you start, first of all, what you need to do is you need to make an org chart of your company. What all people will come at what level and what places and all that. And before you actually start your business, print out the appointment letters, writing your name on each one of them. So right from you giving an appointment letter to a PM, to a designer, to a tech guy, to a CEO, you need to sign all those letters yourself, because initially in your company, you are doing everything, right? And slowly, what you need to do is you need to start putting names of other people on those appointment letters. Basically, that's when you are bringing in more and more people to kind of start working on those particular positions and all that, right? You will still be doing a lot of things, but you will need to see what are the critical areas you initially need to manage when you're starting your business. You will need to see that there are some things you will still have to do. Like initially when I started, I was managing my own accounts for that matter, right? I was making the calls to the people. I was sometimes delivering the stuff also if required, right? I was doing all of that. If I talk about 11 years back in my business, but I knew that my business required a set of designers whom I could not do that, right? And doing a designing work for me at that time was a waste of time. I knew that I need to bring in a specialist. So I got a set of designers who manage that bit. So that is where there's some things which are non-manageable without other people. You need to put those people in place right away. But I still did it with a very basic set of people where I kept my HR expenses low, in terms of the salaries and all that bit. So that is one thing which you need to see. But after that, you will need to start putting people in place. And over a period of time, you will need to see that there are some things which some people could, like for example, accounting. I realized that if I kept doing accounting for a long time, I am not putting that kind of a time in business development. So after I started getting initial business, I soon kept an accountant so that I could put that kind of time into business development. Similarly, the calling bit, I soon got some other people so that I could go there. So slowly it scaled up. Of course, it did not scale up in 1 year or 2 years. It took me time to kind of plan all of that bit, right? Next bit, what we need to look at is that your people need to have a belief in you, right? They will join you for the passion. They will join you for the problem you solve. And they see that passion in you. And that is why they initially work with you. Otherwise, it is very difficult to bring somebody in your company to give that kind of a thought that you are going to work in just as a startup where you are not sure whether you are going to sustain for another year also or not. It is that passion, that belief which people will see and come and start working with you. And let me tell you, that a lot of times you are going to have these set of people. There will be low times in your business as well, right? People will also see that there are low times coming in, but at that time they will not see at the situation. They will see you. How are you tackling that situation? And if that time you keep your passion high and you keep them motivated, that is when the people will believe that you are the one we need to look up to, and they will keep sticking with you for forever, right? So an important part about team, apart from scaling up regularly, is the belief which you need to show, the passion which you need to show, and keep them motivated about all of these things related to your teams, right? And I'm proud to say that the people who joined me 10 years back are still with me, and I think they see that passion and the belief which is there. Apart from the passion and belief, what you need to do is you also need to train them. You need to upskill them regularly so that they feel a lot of value in it, right? And once they see a lot of value, if you are working on their growth, they will work on your growth. That is the most important thing about our team. A lot of times as a company, we are afraid of delegating because you think that somebody else will take my business away. And this is very common with MSMEs and small businesses. They do not train their teams. They do not tell them enough because they see that they will start another business and all that. Let me tell you, if you do not train them and if they keep working with you, they are going to harm your business even more than they leave, right? So you need to train them. You need to upskill them. If you develop them, they will help you develop even further. If you upskill them to take up your jobs, they will free you up so that you can take up even bigger jobs and you can develop completely different. When I created these teams, there were certain things till 2017 or 18 which I was doing. I slowly kept these people into those positions, brought these people into those positions. They freed me up, and because they freed me up, I got the time to think about these new solutions, these challenges. Let me tell you, I also had a time where I was not letting people grow up, or I was totally stretched in my business. But the day I realized it, through a mentor, of course, I got to know that I need to free them up. I need to bring these people up and all that. The day I did that, within a year, I got enough time and the mindset to think about the challenges of the industry, and I started creating something new. If I had not kept those teams properly or upskilled them, I would not have developed, I can tell you, where I am right now. So this
thanks a lot,
about
Gagan Kapoor.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, to create goodwill with your values and ethics is important, and it will return at some moment of time. And thank you for such beautiful thoughts. So coming to the next question, for which we all are eagerly waiting to know about your company, how you started from being the president of your colony and biological exhibitions and to a massive, heading a massive group. So now coming to what your company is doing. Please tell us how small and medium businesses should implement right exhibition strategies to make most of the opportunity.
Right. So Rahul, here is when, as I mentioned, that I started with something else, completely evolved into new set of things. And today, if I talk about the first bit I would like to talk about is actually a very big challenge which a lot of business owners who are into manufacturing and services also face. Exhibitions is a great way of generating leads, regular leads for any business. If you participate in an industry exhibition, you would end up getting good business leads and closing those bits. For exports, if you are going out of your country, exhibitions is a great way to enter into a new market. But what I saw is that there are a lot of challenges by understanding that exhibitions could actually be a great way of doing things. People were not able to maximize these exhibitions. They felt that exhibition is a cost center, right? Their branding and a lot of the things which they were doing were not very proper, with which they did not get any response. The interaction with visitors was a very big challenge, and getting response from these visitors and all that was even a bigger challenge. And hence they realize that no, exhibitions don't work at all. While a lot of successful companies use exhibitions for tons of business which comes from them, right? And what is the implication of all of this? A lost faith in exhibition and a system where that works already, right? And low returns from these kind of any fairs. So they said, okay, let me look at other fairs. Let me look at digital marketing. Let me look at mass mailing and all these things which are least effective ways. Digital marketing is a great way, no doubt about it. But for a B2B business, exhibition is a great way to generate quality leads, right? So I decided, with my knowledge of exhibitions and with my experience in trainings and the consulting which I had already started doing, why cannot I create something different? And that is when in 2017-18 I came up with this idea of bringing in a set of trainings and consulting for the exhibitions industry. And this is what the challenge, what we exactly solve in our current stream and the current areas of working with regards to training and consulting for exhibitions. We do it under a brand, Go for Growth Consulting. This is a special brand I created just for the exhibitions training and consulting. What all we do under it? We do practically work for business owners. We work for MSMEs. We work for small and medium enterprises from, let's say, 100 to 1,000 crores as well. And we also work for large corporates, right? What kind of problems we solve for them? For a business owner, let's say for an MSME who is 1 crore or even lesser, or even till 10 crores and all that, we work on their pre-exhibition marketing alignment. So we work first on their marketing strategy. How are they supposed to communicate with the people? What are the right strategies and the way of presenting your business, which really gets more booth walk-ins? So we first work on that particular part. Then once we have realized that our communication is right to the set of people, we plan their exhibition blueprint. So we plan their exhibition strategy. What are the ways in which they are going to engage with the visitors? There are 7 different kinds of visitors who come on exhibition booths. How to realize what kind of person that is who has come? What are the kind of questions you need to ask them? And based on your questions, what is the kind of product pitch which needs to be made to that particular person, so that the impact is more, the visitor gets more and more knowledge about your particular product, and then they are intrigued to talk further, right? So what all this does is that it increases the level of interactions with your customer. Not only the booth walk-ins increases, the level of interactions with the customers also is increasing. And then we work on their post-exhibition sales strategies, whereby whenever it comes to the follow-ups with these people, how to increase the level 2 conversations, how to close the business, we work on those strategies as well. So 3 parts we'll look at: pre-exhibition, marketing revamp, the communication revamp, and engagement strategies. During the exhibition blueprint, engagement with the visitors, bringing people to our booth, and post-exhibition sales strategies. These are the 3 ways which we work with the business owners. And for the corporates, what we do, we primarily work on with their sales teams and helping them plan all these strategies and the engagement strategies and all that. I would like to focus my conversation here primarily to the MSMEs and the business owners, but we do a lot of work with the corporates as well. What it has resulted over the past 3 years of doing this particular thing, we have managed to increase the number of leads and booth walk-ins by 75 to 200% from the time where people were saying no, business is not coming, to a tremendous amount of leads which are coming in. And once the leads are coming in, what do you really do with those leads so that they close better? We have managed to do all this bit with the set of our trainings and consultings. What I want to say is that it is very, very fulfilling that people who were not able to make the best out of the exhibitions are able to close these many leads. And yes, as I am meeting and talking to and consulting more and more people, I am getting passionate more and more about telling more people about this particular.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Gagan Kapoor, for elaborating about your company. And I'm sure कि MSME and other business delegates, enterprises will get benefited by your views and your opinion by your company. So talking about the digital world, you mentioned in the last question. So in this digital world, you have brought in a new app for exhibition management. So how can MSME viewers and industry people can make maximum out of it?
All right. Yes. So as I said, Rahul, I've always been looking for challenges first, right? And my solutions currently have come up from those challenges. Exhibition design and exhibition consulting. I'm proud to say right now, there is nobody who's, I'm India's first exhibition consultant and trainer working on this field, and there is nobody there. So I got onto a very unique a bit of action there. Similarly, another challenge which I saw was for a long time, and this was a challenge which across MSMEs and corporates and all that, 95% of the people who go to exhibitions, who participate in exhibitions, capture their data when they're meeting somebody on a visitor book. They will write it on a visitor book, staple their pins, staple their cards onto that visitor book, make certain notes, and take the visitor book back with them, and then they will tell one of their colleagues, or they will do it themselves. They will add all those people to a list and then start sending out mails. Now sometimes this adding of the list and start sending out mails happens weeks or months later, right? Imagine the amount of opportunity and business loss which is happening because of this, right? And it is this challenge which I realized that why is somebody not done something on it? People were of course using other lead management apps which are already there. They're pretty good lead management apps which exist in the world for that matter. But these were all lead management apps for general apps where you could solve a lot of problems. I realized that there was no such app dedicated to the exhibitors for exhibition, and I decided to act on it. And in 2019, I started working on this app called Cero VMS. Cero Corporate is my company, so we created this app called Cero VMS. It practically means Cero Visitor Management System, right? Today, if I talk about, it is a full-fledged lead management system for exhibitors, only focused on exhibitions per se. What it does, number one, it captures the leads at the point of an interaction. So through an iOS and an Android or an Android app, what you can do is you can capture these leads within your phone, right? As a person you are interacting, and you can capture that data. And at that time, you can select the kind of products they are interested in. So you've already pre-fed that system, all the products in that app, in that portal for you. And before the visitor leaves your booth, a mail has already gone through the app stating, "Thank you very much for visiting us. Please find attached the details of the product you were interested in. If you were interested in product A, the mail will go about product A. If you're interested in product Z, the mail will go about product Z." And what you can do is, not only this capturing and communication happens, you can give this app to all your team members. And as a business owner, you have a real-time tracker of how many leads each of my team member has collected, right? And at that point of time, you can see if some person has collected 100 leads and the other person has only collected 20 leads. Is there a problem in the efficiency and all that? You can even track it in real time, right? So that is also one problem which is there in terms of the efficiency which we are solving because of this. And with the latest 2021 feature we've added a full follow-up system onto that leads as well. Now users can follow up that lead, add notes to that lead, add a voice note, add a photo note, or add a written note to it that, okay, I followed it up with that person. This is what he had to say, and press submit. Your team member, your supervisor, your manager knows about it, and you can set reminders to call them back and all that. So what we are trying to do with this app is completely dedicated to exhibitions, but yet you follow it up with the lead management system within the app itself so that you can close better and better leads. Again, trying to solve a challenge which is there in industry, and the kind of response which we have got from business owners, even from trade associations, even from corporates is tremendous. for that matter with regards to this app.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Gagan Kapoor, for explaining and elaborating about your app. It seems it is very handy and useful for all the viewers and all the MSME enterprises, whether they are professionals or they are business owners. So I want to add one more question about focusing on MSMEs only. What advice do you want to give to MSMEs on exhibition strategies? We specifically talk about the exhibition strategies only.
Okay. When it comes to the exhibition strategy, what you need to look at is, one, you need to first believe that exhibitions can definitely work as a way of generating good leads, which it's a proven system, it definitely works. Number one. Number two, especially for MSMEs, I would like to recommend them one thing. The MSMEs, the government of India has a lot many benefits for the MSMEs with regards to getting good subsidies out of your exhibitions and promotions. So let's say, and this happens if you become a part of any of your trade associations or an export promotion council, which are designated by Government of India. What it does is that if you are participating in an exhibition, let's say you are a part of the one of the trade associations, and as a part of that, you participate in an exhibition in Germany, right? Your Government of India subsidizes your airfare. It gives you benefits, subsidizes your cost of that hiring of that stall and all that. And some of these benefits range from a lakh to 2 lakh rupees also, which means practically your cost of doing these exhibitions and all that becomes half per se. So I would recommend that look for these kind of benefits government is already providing and people are taking these benefits. First, believe that you can use exhibitions as a strategy. Number two, impact yourself with a great amount of branding, present yourself really well. Unfortunately, we think only about our product and do not brand ourselves well. Building a brand, presenting yourself better has a much more better way of presenting in terms of getting trust from the people who are seeing you. If you are branded well, the trust comes in. You need to plan it in that particular manner. And if you, with your good brand presence, you're communicating well, you show your passion to the people, I am absolutely sure that not only exhibitions, but every marketing activity of yours is going to be super, super successful. But you need to take the right kind of actions towards that.
So thanks a lot, Mr. Gagan, for explaining about the policies and the subsidiaries which are available for MSMEs and how they can get help from that. So to the last question, basically, it's related to the high point and the low points which everyone faces in his or her life. So kindly share any moment from your entrepreneur life, whether high point or low point, from which you have learned a lot. And what is your advice for our audience from your struggles?
Yes, like anybody, I also have my highs and lows in business. The first one which I would like to talk about is actually related to scaling up and teams. There was a time which came and I was very, very diligent the way I worked. We decided to provide absolutely wonderful service to the clients. And we got good business. We got really good business within the first 2 or 3 years of my initially everybody has a low time and you need to put foundations and all that. But by the time of the second or third year, we started getting good business and we scaled up, as in we got really good business and we started getting a lot of projects and all that. But the challenge what I faced was I had not scaled up my team accordingly. I was still doing a lot of things. My team members started facing a lot of pressure and so much of work. We were spending days and nights in working and all that. And that is where the first challenge came in. Because of this too much usage of resources, the same resources, some of our projects got faltered. We could not deliver the kind of service which we were known in the industry. And because of that, we lost a couple of very big clients. That is when I learned that, it's only because I had not got the right kind of resources in there, and I was trying to save those resources, save money on those resources, and it cost me very dear, right? So this was one of my biggest learning, that I need to put the right kind of people at the right time. The moment there are signs that you are scaling up, you are getting good business, get the right people in to handle those kind of things. And this also resulted in I was not able to give a lot of time to my family, for that matter. And a lot of things happened. Now, this is one big challenge which I felt, and it became a very low time for us when we lost some important clients, big multinationals we lost because of that. The second learning, which I briefly mentioned in the financing part, was actually about documentation and contracts, where initially I did some work on goodwill. I did some work on, somebody said, go ahead, please do it for us. And I, just because I was too embarrassed to ask them for, advances or money or confirmation, they were too big. I did not ask for that. And that company, that person, they faltered. I had nothing to go back. I had no documentation, nothing to go back. And I learned very hard way. I lost money because of that, because there was some challenge with the project. It did not happen for some reason, or something got wrong there. And I realized that I had nothing to fall back. Even that when we delivered the things, we were right in delivering and we were absolutely okay. But I could not ask money, and they said, no, we're not going to pay for some reason. And it became a very low time for us. It brought in a temporary dip in our finances as well. And that is when, from that time, I really, really started making sure that I was managing every single bit of my finances, my documentation, my paperwork with my clients. If there is one thing which you need to take from this particular thought process, is do your documentation processes right every time for the smallest of the money slip which you are going to have. Right. And now towards the high time. My high time, first high time came in from the first international project I got to be done in Europe. And it was a project which was to be done in my dream country. For Germany is considered as the Mecca of exhibitions. And when I got my first chance to do a project in Germany, that was my first time. It was way back in 2014-15 when I got this project. And I really loved handling that project. So that was my first high time. And the second one is actually where I found those challenges, and I realized that I could develop something which nobody else had thought so far, right? And I clubbed my trainings and the exhibition experience and the technology to bring in two completely new projects for the industry, which was the exhibition consulting and the lead management app, the Zero VMS. This remains a high, and because of that, we completely evolved from our business of conventionally doing exhibition, stand designing, consulting, and installations to a new evolved company which is completely into the consulting domain, the training domain, and the tech domain. I think this continues to be my high point of my business. So yes, if I were to sum it up, two lows in my business and two of these highs in my business. And there is one question which has come up from Naresh Pal, and this is about the books which you recommend to do good business insights and all that. I would like to talk about this one thing which I am passionate and very, very proud to tell is actually has been spoken by Mr. Naresh Pal, is reading. I on an average now read 3 books a month. That's my average. I definitely make sure that I do a minimum 30 to 45 minutes of my reading every day, even though I have 3 different businesses to handle. My books have been I earlier also spoke about the importance of the books in starting up businesses. Small Giants is one book which I said is one book which I initially read. E-Myth is also one more book which is Entrepreneur Myth which I read initially. But over a period of time, I have read a considerable number of books on how to manage business. I've read books on marketing. Differentiate or Die is one book. Blue Ocean Strategy is a second book. I have read numerous books of Brian Tracy. Time management, a very basic book on time management, has greatly helped in managing time and allocating time to my business, new development, as well as family. Make Time, from a book from a person called Jake Knapp, is one such book on time management as well. I have read books on sales, for that matter. I have read books on personal development. So what I do is, whenever I feel a challenge, I go and pick up a book and I read that. Frankly, I had an initial problem of reading books, so I started listening to books. So I use an app, two apps actually. I use an app called Audible, which is an app from Amazon, and I use an app called Blinkist. These are the two apps which I use. The subscription is very, very cheap, and I couldn't believe that I could read such these books so easily, especially because I had a problem reading and concentrating. And it's only because of these apps I am now able to read 3 books or listen to 3 books a month. I make a lot of notes with these books and try and implement that in my business, in my personal life, in new developments. And I am proud to say that I am reading those books from a person who did not read a single book in a full year in 2014-15 to somebody who's reading 3 books in a month. I am truly proud to where I have it. The books have got me. Frankly, books has a great power, and you all should definitely read 1 or 2 books a month or listen to them. It is going to greatly help you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Gagan Kapoor. It's really inspiring and motivating. We talked about your life, your job, your career, and how you became a successful entrepreneur. You talked about all the things to MSME viewers, also to entrepreneurs and professionals. So once again, thank you, Mr. Gagan Kapoor, for sharing your opinion with us and for an engaging talk show. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure being with you. We wish you a great success in your endeavor. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely a pleasure. Thank you so much, Rahul, for giving me the opportunity to talk about it.